been a wild week in the oil patch. West Texas crude is back near $41 a barrel after starting the week around $37. It's about a 10% swing, and there could be more big moves ahead. Bill Baruch, the president of Blue Line Futures, is with us now. Bill, is one of the takeaways from these swings this week that the global economic recovery is just not perhaps as strong as a lot of people in the market expect?
Well, we've seen economic data start to recover, but from such dismal levels. It is giving a bit of hope. Now, talking about oil and more particularly, we've seen China make just tremendous amount of purchases through the spring and through the summer that have really buoyed this market. That coupled with the maneuvers by OPEC to bring down production, all of that had really kept crude oil tethered at a time for $42, $43 before the fallout 2 weeks ago, a little bit of brisk off. Now, to understand today's rip higher or the rip higher back up this week, obviously the OPEC had a JMMC meeting, and then there were some pretty strong comments from Saudi Arabia. But one thing that really quietly went unnoticed was a tremendous technical level getting hit, which stood just below $36. 36 was the low, and buyers really kind of came in there in front of that to keep the market propped up. There is, as to your point, the weaker economic recovery, but I think what really kind of hangs in the balance is going forward, do we continue to see lockdowns or really continued virus outbreak, and that really hurts the demand picture going out 6 months from now?
You know, Bill, we saw Libya say that it's going to start to reopen its ports. You got Saudi Arabia cutting its prices. These two are aggressively trying to gain market share. What does this mean for U.S. oil companies? Is it going to be a tough road ahead for them?
Well, one of the things that did give WTI some solid strength in August was the hope that China was going to reset new record purchases of U.S. oil. Now, at that time, the U.S. dollar was, and it still is, at 2-year lows. A weaker U.S. dollar makes exports from the U.S. or for other countries to import U.S. products much cheaper for them. So really, I think it depends what the U.S. dollar does. I think that's quietly in the balance here for a number of asset classes, from equity markets to crude oil to even the agriculture markets. And a lot of that, too, is then tied to China. What is China doing? Because last week, they said they wanted to increase energy purchases. They want to increase metals, and they also want to increase farm purchases. We saw a lot of the metals have some pretty strong moves that last week that have then faded. We've seen the agriculture markets, such as soybeans, just a rocket ship higher. So I think a lot that we have to focus on is where does the demand picture come from? And does the COVID-19 over the coming months, does that affect that? What does the U.S. dollar do? And then what is the U.S. and China relationship moving forward?
Bill, in the 30 seconds we have left here, we saw Saudi Prince Abdulaziz really shred short sellers, oil short sellers in the market. Are you seeing short selling increase?
Well, I think the point here is we've seen up until this little bit of a washout last week or in through this week, the market was actually pretty heavily favored to the long side. Speculators were just sitting comfortably at the long side, and that when you get a move lower like that is exacerbated because those longs are then liquidating. I think they're really trying to potentially cover up a fear of under compliance for the production cuts. So they had this extraordinary meeting that they called it, and then they made those harsh comments yesterday, pumped the price up. But what do we see coming out of this? Is Iraq overproduce pretty steadily? Does the UAE overproduce? Both those countries have been overproducing, and then do others follow? So are they losing some of that control at OPEC, and are they covering it up by these strongly worded comments?
All right, let's leave it there. Bill Baruch, president of Blue Line Futures. Always good to see you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.